Hey everyone. So I don't know whether I fully processed this or not because it is a few months away, but now that it's been confirmed, I can actually share it more publicly. So over the last few weeks, one of the reasons why there hasn't been many videos is because I've been focused on something else. So as of the fall, I am going to be a student again. And I've mentioned how I've fallen in love with what I do and all of that a little bit on the channel, although I do try to keep work kind of off to the side. It's very, very separate from this. This is basically where I share my story with IIH and migraines. I don't really talk about what I actually do, so I have been working in a pharmacy department, I guess, now for a couple of years, but I've actually been gaining experience in what I just applied to be, which is a pharmacy technician and for pharmacy technician schooling. I wanted to come on here and not only share that because I'm hoping to share a little bit of this process as I go through it. It'll be what's at the forefront of my mind as it gets closer. I think not only do I have a unique perspective to share on this because I still have my migraines, I still got to manage that all the way through it. There doesn't seem to be much for people actually sharing much about what it's like to go through one of these programs, and they are intense. So I'll be doing my best to share that while keeping as much privacy as I can. You might be wondering, okay, what is a pharmacy technician? Because maybe you live in a different country and don't know, or all of that. Pharmacy technicians work closely with pharmacists in many different areas and work so that prescriptions get filled and the patients get the proper prescriptions. There's a lot of different parts that you can do. There's many different areas you can go into when you're done your schooling. And the one that I've fallen in love with is called community or retail pharmacy. But being that I'll be exposed to much more over the next couple of years, or a few years actually, as I go through this training, because it is pretty intense training, it will mean that I get exposed to other areas such as compounding pharmacy, hospital pharmacy, all of that. So although I say I've fallen in love with this particular area, I don't know whether that's where I'll end up because life right now seems to be like you think you know what's happening and then something else comes along and goes whacks you over the head and you're like, whoa, what was that? So that's one of the things that's happening. And to go through this and whatever this is with awakening at the same time, actually, so you might be wondering, actually, okay, what made you decide to do this? I had been considering this now for a few months. I just had a few things that was kind of making me hesitate, basically. I'm kind of don't really know what's gonna happen over the next little bit, but I am definitely looking forward to the challenge. Pharmacy technicians in the province that I live in Saskatchewan, are a regulated healthcare professional. There is a lot to do once you get your diploma. So this is a diploma program, so it's 2 years. Usually degrees are 4. That being said, there's stuff that you have to do once you're done your diploma. So I will be sharing the entire process with you guys as I go through this. I start in the fall. I'm hoping to keep these videos as not only a documentation of this because this is what I felt is right in this moment, but I'm hoping that as I go forward, I can share what it's like to go through it. Pharmacy technicians are becoming more and more in demand all of the time. The scope of practice for them, especially in places and provinces where they're regulated here in Canada, is increasing, it seems like every year, as the pharmacists take on more themselves. Now, as with anything, there's sacrifices that come along with this, so there are a few things that kind of have to be let go in order to bring in the new kind of thing, and I kind of have to say goodbye to some of the things I'm comfortable with in order to be able to do this, but that's okay. It's perfectly okay. And so things aren't really going to change for the next few months until the fall, and then I'll start actually sharing that. I didn't really feel like it was right to share the application process, but I guess if people have any questions about the application process, I could answer the questions now that I've actually applied and been accepted and all of that. I guess I hope that the biggest thing with this is to see that life doesn't end with an IIH or migraine diagnosis. You can still have the ability to do and hopefully gain back some of the things that you lacked before. I know, like I said, I'm lucky to be in the position where I am, where things are probably as best as they're going to get. And I'm very, very thankful for that. But I just want to demonstrate that hope. I've had a lot of people comment, thanks for giving me hope. So I hope this can maybe increase that for somebody or increase that possibility for somebody. What I'll probably do is just to avoid issues with copyright and all of that, to just maybe talk about some of the things that I'm learning in basically my own way and all of that. Part of me is a little bit nervous about being a student again, just because I did have massive student burnout when I finished my degree. Now, I think this is going to be different because I think I'm in something now that feels authentically right in the direction that I'm heading. It's been something that I've thought about before and felt into before. It just hasn't felt right up until recently when I actually did apply for this. So I think that that is where this is headed. Like I said, I don't know how much this is actually sunk in and probably will sink in until things actually get going. I probably won't have much of an update in regards to all of this until way later on. I'm guessing maybe not even until summer when I kind of understand what my schedule is going to be like and all of that. This feels right. And it's really, really hard to explain to people when they ask me, "Oh, what is the reason why you're going into this?" And to say to somebody who maybe hasn't had that in their life is really difficult. And up until recently, I hadn't really had that either. Well, what does that mean? Like, what do you mean by that? It just feels authentically what's supposed to happen right now. It's kind of like how I felt signing up for my first retreat. And I mean, that has resulted in a complete change in my life, or at least well, it's not really changed my life in any particular way that I can describe, but the way I handle things now is completely different than how I used to. And it's really hard to explain, but there's a flow to life now that is completely different than how it used to be. And it's freeing to not have my mind constantly chatter, to not be able to sleep the night before a big exam or test. I just had that happen. So for this thing, I actually had to do a keyboarding test, and there wasn't much I could do besides actually practice beforehand and kind of get my skills back up. I type every single day because I've been trained on how to properly type. Actually, I took a typing class, or it was like a computer information processing class in high school. Now, keep in mind that I've been out of high school now for about 12 years. So 12 and a half years, it's hard to believe. And actually, this year was 10 years since I started my degree, or I guess it will be in the fall. It'll be 10 years since I started at the U of S in the fall. I don't know moving forward how many podcasts I'm going to be able to do. I'm kind of in a little bit of a creative slump right now, and it's hard to explain it basically, but I just don't feel like making any content. I actually did make a podcast last week and I haven't released it because I didn't like it. It didn't feel right. It felt forced. I had other things on my mind, and moving forward, I can't tell you what's going to happen with the actual videos. It might just come to the channel being me in the moment. I don't know. I've been tempted to actually use short video content because I can share up to 10-minute clips on TikTok now, and you can actually do it so that it's in this orientation that I'm using right now, which is landscape. I am starting to really feel like if something is meant to be, everything will just fall into place like how it's supposed to happen. So I don't know if that's actually a thing, but it seems like it lately that all of these things are happening for reasons that I'll never understand. So, just get comfortable with something and it's just like, boom, change again. I hope you guys are all doing okay, and I hope that you are managing everything in your lives all right. I just want to say that I am thankful for remission with IIH, and I'm thankful for how well I'm doing with my migraines. To be able to even have this opportunity is a huge deal. Something I do want to briefly talk about actually in this video is just the gratitude I have for looking back at, what was it, April 2019, and how sick I was at that point and comparing it to now. I'm living a dream. I'm living the dream of that girl. So, excuse me. It's hard. It's hard to put this into words because it's a place I never thought I'd get to again. It's a place I'd never thought I'd return to again. I can't put it into words about why I feel like this time, all I can do is take it everything moment by moment, basically. That's it for this one. And if you're inclined to, do follow me across social media. Like I said, I hope to have more videos up again soon. Finding what I feel like I'm meant to do in this world is all I ever wanted. So, yeah, it's hard to put that into words. It's something I never thought I'd find, actually, because when I finished my degree, I didn't really know what was next because I felt like every door that kind of was there was basically closed because didn't get honors, couldn't really go on to grad school, wasn't interested anyway, so that really wasn't a disappointment for me. And, feeling like, did I really go into the right program? But, there are some skills that I learned during my degree that I use all of the time now. I'm gonna quit rambling now because I can't believe I've been talking about this for like as long as I have been, but those are kind of my thoughts as of right now. Like I said, if you guys have any questions about the program or want me to cover anything with regards to the program that I can as of right now, feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll let you know. Maybe do a few short videos on it or something like that, or maybe some shorter clips or something like that. So let me know and I'll get back to you as soon as I have the ability. Love you guys.